Ciao jewelry making friends, my name is Joey Balestrieri. Welcome to my channel. Don't you just love going to the mailbox and there's a box of beads there? And this is one of my favorite little subscription boxes that I get every month, the Dollar Bead Club. It comes with the dollar, well, you can choose between the Dollar Bead box and the Dollar Bead bag. You can get both if you want, and I just love it. It's packed with check glass, some specialty beads. Their website is wonderful. It is a club. I'll talk to you a little bit about that, but I got my box for the month of May and it is beautiful. And I'll tell you, one of the things that I love about these types of subscription boxes is they make me think outside my own box. The normal things that I would buy, the normal color palette that I would buy, and I can tell you that on my own I would probably never curate this for myself in an order, but as I unboxed it, I already have a bracelet design in my mind, and some of the things in here are just really beautiful, and I probably wouldn't have ordered them on my own. So I am super excited. So the Dollar Bead Club is a club, and in order to shop the website, you must be a member. And one of our viewers last month reminded me that if you don't want to receive the monthly subscription box and or bag, you can pay a $35 a year fee, and then you can shop the website as much as you want, and almost everything on the website is $1. So it is a really great resource for jewelry makers. And you know, we those of us who make one-of-a-kind pieces or do very small quantities, you will love the sampling of beads that you get. It's perfect for me because I almost never duplicate one of my designs. I make something and then move on to another thing. So I love the small quantities. But then if you want more, you can go on the website and they are there for you. So I'm going to start with the Dollar Bead bag. And this is the May, it's a check fire polish bundle. And we always get 3mm strands and 4mm strands. And this is the little insert that comes with it. So this first one, let's start with, I'll start with the 4mm. This first one is an opaque red, or you would have gotten a matte opaque red coral. Clearly I got the matte one, and it is just beautiful. It's those perfect little check glass faceted beads, and I absolutely love it. And then this one is super exciting to me. This is a watermelon, and it's actually, you would have gotten watermelon or matte watermelon, and I got the one that's just the plain watermelon that you can see through, and it is just beautiful. I love that bead. I mean, that is just the most beautiful glass to see literally the colors of a watermelon, and it's so summery. I just love that one. And then a matte emerald. Look at this. That is just a beautiful, beautiful bead. And then I'm loving this one too. This one we would have gotten either an olive green that's half copper or half brass, half copper. And it looks like I got the half brass, half copper. And if you have been on my channel for 5 seconds, you know that I love mixing gold and copper. So it will be fabulous for so many projects that I do, because it's glass, but it has my two metals that I really love to mix in there. So what a fabulous strand. And you know, we get really nice strands, and you know, if you want more of these, you can go on the website once you're a member and get more for $1. So I really love that. And then we'll move on to the 3mm strands. It looks like this one is called Jonquil, and it is the most beautiful crystally, is that a word? Crystally pale yellow 3mm faceted check glass. Just stunning. I mean, I just love that. And you know, this is just so pale that it's kind of neutral. It's almost in the gold family and could be added into almost anything as a spacer. And then there is, it's calling this a crystal yellow and green Maria. Is that what I have here? I guess that's it. I do see the green and the yellow, and it is crystal. Is that correct? because I have another one that says brick red or crystal ruby luster. It looks like, I'm not sure, but I would say this one is the crystal ruby luster. Really beautiful bead. That is a pretty red. And then this one is Siam satin. This is gorgeous. I see copper. My eye sees copper, and I just love that. I mean, for me, I would call this a copper colored glass. That is just beautiful. So I love those little strands. Those are so useful, whether you're a bead weaver or a stringer or, you know, a knotter or whatever you do. These are just so useful. They're staples in our jewelry supplies. And then let's move on to the list here. And what I do is, after I've unboxed everything and looked at it, I will take my scissors and just cut these little strips, and I fold them up and put my beads in the little bags that they come in, and I put that information in the back, because they always put this pretty little dollar bead box card inside, and then I can put these in my respective organizing drawers, so I know exactly where to find the things that I didn't use right away. So I really love that. And so we'll start with the strands here, and I am so excited about this one. This is a 4mm, do I have the right one? Yes. 4mm check glass druck, and it's in a topaz color, and it is a 50-piece strand. I think this is so amazing, and my eye, like, I can tell you when I was unboxing, I already have a design in my mind, and I just love this color with the blacks and reds that came in the box. And this is, like, for me, I love 4 and 6mm beads, so I love, love, love that one. And then I also am a huge fan of rondelles, and this is a gem cut rondelle. It's a 3x5mm, and it's in a light topaz. And you know, this is not a huge bead, but it is powerful. Look how gorgeous the little facets are, and the facets are not sharp or, you know, scratchy. It's very smooth and just beautiful. Rondelles just make wonderful spacers. They really separate other beads just beautifully. I love having those. And we got a 25-piece strand, and then we got a 6mm glass druck bead in the light topaz. And again, like for summer, I love these pale yellow colors. Look at this 3mm strand with these pale yellow colors. They're just like so beautiful with linen and like just the things that we wear, and they're also very neutral, so to mix it in with black or red, or even to take this over to pinks and lavenders, just be beautiful. So that's where my head is going. But I love this little 6mm bead, and that was also a 25-piece strand. And then this is a strange labeling. It's 5mm, and they're calling this a check glass bicone, and it's in a red, brown, and ochre color, but I see a pinch bead. I would, if I were not reading my list, I would say this is a pinch bead, and it's one of the coolest pinch beads I've ever seen, because you can see, like, this one is the ochre and red, and then this one is brown and red, and so each one has a little color combination going on, but it's a really cool little strand of beads. I mean, just absolutely gorgeous. Very interesting. And again, like, this is one of the things that I love about getting a box that someone else curated, that just comes to me, because on my own, I probably would never have ordered this, but this is a really cool, really fun bead. I love that. And then I'm super excited about these. I got excited when I opened the box and saw these. This is a 4mm check glass Orion bead. And in fact, I'm just going to cut this one open, because I think this is amazing. It looks a little bit like a star, and it's just a really beautiful bead. And I think I'll be using this in my first project with this box. But can you see, like, how beautiful it has? The 4 little star points, but it's a really soft, like, cushiony star, not like a really sharp one, and it's quite small, and I just like love that. It's, for me, I kind of see this as a specialty seed bead, and I think I may even use this. I mean, the fabulous spacers, but what I was thinking is what a cool like loop that would make on a bracelet closure, just because it would give so much texture, maybe even a little seed bead in between each one to give it even more dimension. So that's where I got excited when I saw this, because I don't have anything like this in my stash, and that is just a really beautiful bead. I'm going to take it off because I think I'll be using that one right away. And then this is a 5 by 8 millimeter check glass donut bead. This is a beautiful bead. I definitely don't see this colorway. It's very dimensional. I guess maybe a little bit right there, but the colorway is red with black and violet. I am not seeing very much violet. Certain ways I turn it, like I can see a little in there, I suppose. It's a very dimensional glass, you know, with the color just changing as you go around the bead. But what a stunning shape. The color too, but what a really stunning shape. That is another thing that I just love. Oh yeah, I just got a little flash of the violet right there, the way my light is hitting it. Really cool colorway, really cool shape, wonderful like medium-sized bead. I just love that. So then on my list, they call this the additional items. And let's see, I'm going to start with the check glass coin. So there were 4 of these in the box, and it's in an opaque red. The hole goes straight up and down through the middle, and oh my gosh, who doesn't love a coin bead? I mean, these are just so gorgeous. Just absolutely a beautiful little bead. I love that. And so with 4, you can do, you know, when I see that, I think, okay, I could make one as the little charm on the back of a necklace or a bracelet, a pair of earrings. Then I'd have 3 if I wanted to create my own focal point. So for me, I just love the quantities that they supply in the dollar bead box every month. I think it's great. And then this, I think, is also going to make its way into my first project. These are 10 millimeter check fire polished jet black faceted rounds, and they are just stunning. They're just like the perfect size, perfect weight. I just love the way they feel, just absolutely beautiful. And when you get jet check glass that's faceted, look at the sparkle, even though it's a black bead. Absolutely gorgeous. And then these are tabular check glass square beads, and these have an opaque red travertine. So that is a finish that they do with the glass, and it just gives so much dimension. This travertine is a little bit dark. I don't know if the camera is showing you. I'm looking in the lens, and it doesn't look like it's really showing you how beautiful this is, but each one is a little bit different. There's some of that red that we see in the box in like striations going through this bead, and the hole goes right up the middle. And let's see, we got 6 of those. So again, just the perfect quantity to play with, you know, put some spacers. That could be a really cool bracelet. Like, I just get so many ideas from that. And then I'm super excited about these 2, because these are check glass daisy beads. They are tiny, but look at the detail in this tiny little bead. It is like a little flower with a hole in the middle, and I love both colors, but particularly I love this color. Look at how gorgeous that is. This is the white opal, so it's not completely opaque. It's like pearlescent a little bit. There are some parts of this tiny bead that you can see through. So it's, I mean, for being so small, there is just a lot going on in that little white bead. And again, for summer, and like, what's prettier than like this pretty pale yellow with the white? I mean, that's just so beautiful. And then we have 2 of these in different colorways, which I love when they give us that. These are check glass twisted ovals, and there's a dark red and a green opal, and they're they have like a little bit of a nugget shape to them. They're very organic, and I just love them. And this is that glass that looks like art glass to me, because again, you see variations in the glass and like almost some little striping, and it just looks like art glass to me, and I just love those. And I love it when which they do this pretty often, they give us a couple of different colors of the same bead, because that just is really fun to design with. So those are beautiful, and this is super cool. Even though Tierra Cast closed their doors at the end of last year, they put a little Tierra Cast Tree of Life charm in this month's box, and it's a beautiful charm. It has a pretty big hole at the top, so you could do a lot with that. I mean, it is just so sweet. It's funny that so many of our boxes this season zeroed in on the Tree of Life theme, but that is a really sweet one. And it's sad that we don't have Tierra Cast anymore, but Dollar Bead Club still has some Tierra Cast things available on their website. So I was excited to get another little piece, because I'm kind of hoarding my Tierra Cast in a separate organizing box. So that was exciting. And then look at this. We got this beautiful focal bead. This is a Nepalese handmade 6-layer chevron. And we just got one piece, but look at the dimension and look at the pattern on this. I just love this. When I saw this, I was thinking how pretty it would be just to add a little, some kind of a disc or some kind of a spacer and a ball head pin or a decorative head pin, and make that as the charm on a bracelet, just so that you could see it. And also it feels so good in your hand. You can actually feel the stripes. I mean, it's just a really beautiful, again, I'm holding a little tiny piece of art in my hand. So this box is so exciting. Oh gosh, I forgot my beads in the middle. Sorry, and these are, I put the best ones in the middle. These are the ones that are gonna make it into my first project. I am so sorry, you guys. I'm so excited. You know, I'm like squirrel. My eye is going over my new little pile of beads. So we got 2 pieces of this check glass tabular oval, and it has an etching on both sides. It's 2-sided, like a little leaf or a little plant. I don't know if the camera is showing you that, but it is gorgeous. And the drill hole goes straight up the middle, and there are 2 of them. So I don't know, I think this is going to definitely make it into my first project. I just love it. And again, I'm like thinking the black with the pale yellow, so pretty. And then I just picked some of these up at the bead show that I went to in a different colorway. These are these beautiful check glass hearts, and this is the finish on this is called Alabaster Picasso with red. So you see the red wash over the little embossing on the heart, but you have that, and the alabaster is like that white that's in the back, and the Picasso wash on the check glass is usually that brown color. But this is one of my very favorite check glass shapes and beads, and I do not have it in this finish. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, that would make a really sweet little pair of earrings. Really, it would. I'm a little bit torn up, and this is probably one of the things that I'll go on the website after I'm finished filming and order more of them, because I would love a pair of earrings, but I think I would also like to have a dangle for my project, so I would like to have more of those. And then this is the coolest little bead. We got 2 pieces of this dyed bamboo. It is a coral chip, and so you can see it has so much going on. It's very organic, very natural. I imagine that everyone's is going to look a little bit different. There's different things going on the 2 sides, and I think that mine is going to be stacked together. I'm going to play with these, but I think I'm going to stack mine together, and I think it's going to be a little section of my first project. So this is my beautiful little dollar bead box and dollar bead bag. If you would like to subscribe, I can leave all the information in the description box below. It is an extremely affordable monthly subscription and a great resource for jewelry makers. And you know, the dollar bead bag subscription is only $8 a month. So it is extremely affordable. And you know, they're always so useful. Like these strands for $8 a month are so wonderful. Great price. It's curated. Years ago when I started getting the dollar bead box and bag, it was not curated. It was just kind of a sampling of things. And I don't remember when they actually started, but they actually curate it. So as you can see from my mat, everything can work together. And you know, you have like a beautiful little kit really to work from. So if you're interested, I'll leave all of that information in the description box below. I pulled out my very favorite beads from the box, and I've kind of played a little bit with a pattern. And as I said, the first thing I thought when I saw these little Orion beads was to make a loop and use that as a bracelet closure. So I really think that's what I'm going to do. And I don't know how well you can see how cool these little spacers are. This is the neatest bead. I love these for spacers. This is an antique bronze demi-round 8/0 size. They consider it a seed bead, but it is like a really tiny, like donut or disc spacer, but really, really tiny. It's a little O basically, and it just does so much, especially in between a really dark bead. And I just love it. I mean, I just think it makes that so dimensional and beautiful. And so I was playing with my loop and kind of played a little bit on the strand with them as spacers, and they do great. And then for the closure, I went into my stash and took out this black and gold check glass button. I can't remember where I got this, but one of my favorite things to go on the Dollar Bead Club website for is their check glass buttons. They always have really unique things, and it might have come from there, but definitely go on the website if you need check glass buttons because they're greatly priced and they just have really unique pieces. I did a recent video where I did some buttons in my order and shared them. They're just really amazing. So this looks great with the beads from the box. And then from my stash, I have these little Tibetan spacers. I can link those below. I just wanted to add in a tiny bit of metal presence, and I just love this topaz or like honey color with this tiny bit of red. And I'll show you when I start stringing why I put some of the little extra demi-round beads out here. I really wanted to kind of see the it's not embossing, but you know, see what's going on in this bamboo. So I'm using these to kind of separate these so they're not right up against each other, so that when it's on my bracelet, I, you know, can see like some of the detail of the bead. And so what I'm going to do, oh, first let me tell you, I love my soft flex stringing material, and this particular one is the antique brass color of the metallics, and it is a 49 strand medium diameter. It's an all-purpose beading wire. I reach for it all the time. I didn't see, the last couple of orders, I didn't see like a brighter gold in this, and I don't know if they just don't make it or if it's out of stock, but I'm okay with the antique bronze, and that happens to be the color that I had in these little demi rounds as well. So it's going to be a little mix of brighter gold, and then the antique bronze is like a little bit of a muted gold, and I'm happy with that. I think it looks great with the black and with the topaz. So that's what I'm doing there. And so I just, when I'm making a loop, and this is not anything new, but I will just kind of start out by guessing my length, and then I just want to make sure that my button easily goes through that loop, because that's going to be the bracelet closure. And so I need about a 7 to a 7¼ inch length, and I give myself a little bit extra, and I'm using one of the Soft Flex Company's #2 crimp tubes for this, and they are gold filled, so I don't have to worry about tarnish, and they're really high quality. I'm going to use my one-step looper, so if you're not familiar with that tool, it takes this little #2 crimp tube and turns it into a really tiny little gold bead. And it is really fabulous because it's one and done. You don't need a crimp cover. It's just really, really beautiful. I'm going to pull this so that I don't have too much extra, and just get that tube in there. And I want this to be tight, but you know, rigidity in jewelry is never not usually a good thing. So I don't know how well you can see, but you know, the beads are tight up against each other. There's no gap. I can see the shape of those Orion beads, which I love. And so I'm just going to reach over and get my magical crimping plier. If you're new to this tool, it just has one little divot instead of all the divots of a regular crimper. And you can totally use a regular crimping plier here too. But you don't have to worry about your wire being crossed here at all. You don't really, you just crimp down. Well, I just let go of it. Really, you just crimp down, and like I said, it's one and done. I am just going to get that little tube kind of centered in the well. Just take your time, you know, as with everything, you do a better job when you go slowly. And I can even pull this a little bit now that I have my crimp tube centered in the well, and just double check before I press down. And now I'm just going to close the jaw of the plier, close it completely. And when I take it away, I've pinched the 4 little corners of that tube, and then I'm going to turn it in the complete opposite direction and do the same thing. Just close the tool, and then just open and close the tool as you gently go around in a circle, and just keep going. I think the package for this says 6 to 8 times, but I just go around and around until I feel like the tool isn't doing anything. I'm just opening and closing on air. And when you take it away, you have this gorgeous little tiny bead. And it just is great. I love this. I just love this as a little loop. I'm going to trim this right about there, and just start with my Tibetan spacer and try to hide that little cut end right inside the first bead on my bracelet. There, look how pretty that is. I mean, that is just such a nice transition from where I've crimped into my stringing. And then I'm just going to play a little bit like with this little pattern. I didn't add in a lot of metal, but I really like a little bit. So I'm just going to pick up one of those demi rounds, one of those drucks, another demi round, and look how pretty that is. Those make the most fabulous spacers. And then this is going to be my little focal bead. I want another demi round here, and then let's see which piece of coral. I'll start with this one. I'm going to do it this way just because there's some detail here, and I think it will show better. So because I wanted to be able to see like all the detail in this pretty little bead. And then what I did here is just 2 of these demi rounds just to create a little space between the beads again, so that, because look how pretty that is, so that when it's on my wrist I can look at it. So see the effect that you get where you can actually see all the dimension and the organic shape of these gorgeous beads. And then 1 demi round here, and one of my drucks. Do I want another? No, that one's good. One of my drucks, another demi round. See if I want to do 1 or 2 there. No, that's really pretty. What a gorgeous color combination. I just love it. And then I'm going to go for another one of my Tibetan spacers, and Let's see, I think I'll turn my heart this way. Just because of the shape of that spacer, it goes right into the little bow of the heart. Very pretty. And a demi round. And then I'm going to do, so I guess when I was coming up with this little pattern, I was kind of thinking of kind of color blocking. So like the two coral together, I did some alternation, but then I'm going to do a little group here of the black, and then love these little drucks are so pretty. I love this pattern play. It's just gorgeous. Let me get, and then what I did in my pattern is I tried to keep the black beads up here a little bit because they're so big, and I think the bracelet will be easier to close with smaller beads on the end. And I think I'm going to finish off with 3 of these. That looks gorgeous. And then my button. Oops, not my button. Another crimp tube first. Feed on that crimp tube. And then the button. And then I'm just going to make a loop here and go back down through the crimp tube. And I'm not sure if this will go through the demi rounds. I think it does. It does. It doesn't go back through that. It doesn't go back through that druck bead. So I'm just going to pull it, and I want to make sure before I crimp that nothing is tight. I love a fluid bracelet. I just love it. And I'm a bracelet lover because in my experience, first of all, when it's really hot and I live in a very tropical climate, I can wear a bracelet without it being uncomfortable. And also it's a piece of jewelry where I really get to see the beads and really enjoy the beauty of the beads. Whereas like with necklace and earrings, you really wear those to embellish yourself for other people. But for a bracelet, I always feel like when I make a bracelet, it's truly for me. Look how stunning this is. I just love the tiny little bit of red. I just love it. The tiny little bit of pop of color is just gorgeous. And so before I crimp, I just want to gently try it on because nothing is really secure, just to make sure that I got a good length. And it looks like it is perfection. It's not crimped, but look at that. Oh, that is so gorgeous. And again, it's another one of my bracelets where no matter which way this turns around my wrist, I have something gorgeous to look at. So let me just make final little adjustment here. I really like it loose though. Beautiful. And I'm going to do the same thing again on this side. Just come in with my magical crimper. If you're stringing with seed beads and you're using this, you always want to make sure that you're not chomping down on your last seed bead because this tool will break those beads. So see, I have my perfect little ravioli shape, and then I'm just going to turn it to the side. Go slowly, make sure it's in there properly, close it down, and then I'm just going to, let me switch my hand here this way so I can keep showing you. And then I'm just going to keep circling around. And again, I'm just watching those beads just to make sure that I am not going to break any of my beads. And look at that. It's so beautiful. It's so professional and such an unobtrusive little transition. And then I'm going to get that wire cut as closely as I can, being careful not to cut my stringing material. And look at this gorgeous piece. But I am not finished. I still have a couple of things I want to do. I just came from the Intergalactic Bead Show, and I want to try out his head pins. These have the e-coating on them so that they don't tarnish. And I just love this gentleman from the show. I just love his pieces. So I am going to use my extra little heart here. I want to have a little bit of all my bits that are in my bracelet kind of showing up. Oh, do I have a heart? Oh, this one's got a blocked hole. Let me see. Oh, I could unblock it. Just a little bit of the wash that's on the bead was blocking the hole, but the head pin took care of that. Very pretty, but I think I want to have one of these as well. Just going to play here and make a little charm for my bracelet, and I don't know if this will fit. Oh, it does. Very pretty. That is beautiful. And I am just going to make a simple loop here. Let me just get a little bend and trim it really short, and just take my plier and roll that back. You could also do a wire wrapped loop here if you wanted to, but I am okay with this because I'm going to close it really well, and so that it will dangle nicely, I'm going to get a small jump ring. I actually made some jump rings. Can't remember which bail making plier I used to make them, but they are very small, so they'll give some freedom of movement and some articulation without being stiff. And I think I'm going to attach it right here. I could go on this side or I can go on this side. Which one would be prettier? Let me see. Can have it hanging there or here. Let me decide. Oh, I think it's prettier on this side. Executive decision. Isn't it amazing all the decisions we have to make, design decisions when we're creating a piece? It always amazes me. Okay, I'm just going to slip that little charm right there and close it really well. Absolutely beautiful. That is such a quick, easy, any level of skill could do this. Just pattern play, and when you start with such beautiful curated beads, you can't go wrong. It's really hard to make ugly jewelry. Get my little, as everybody knows, if you film your work, you can never clasp a bracelet on camera. I got my length just perfect. I love spacing these little bamboo coral pieces so that I can actually see the detail on those. I love this being a focal. I love the check glass button. I love these Orion beads. I actually love everything about this bracelet, and I got my length absolutely perfect. So as I said, I had two more things to do. The charm was one, and the last thing that I will do is come in with my Permalac coating that's anti-tarnish, and I am just going to brush it on this piece and this piece, and these won't tarnish. So really I just had two little gold elements in this bracelet that are base metal. They're just fashion jewelry, and I love them. I love these Tibetan spacers, but they will tarnish, and I really love this bracelet. It is going in my jewelry wardrobe. So I always take a moment to brush on this little coating, and it dries really, really fast. I usually don't need to do much except just let it hang out for a minute or two, and I will be able to photograph this bracelet and put some pictures up for you at the end of the video. And this is just so easy. If you can polish your nails, you can do this, because it's not even as specific as polishing your nails. And many of you have seen me do this before, but if you accidentally brush your bead with a little bit of this, it doesn't turn cloudy. It just dries completely clear. It doesn't damage anything. So it is just a final step that I always do. I don't always show it, but I did today because I just wanted to share that with you. When you have such high quality check glass beads, it is just a really, really great thing to do to add longevity to your piece. So this beautiful little bracelet is done. I may actually wear this today, and I love it. And I want to thank everybody for watching and for choosing my video today. And I am still collecting photos of everyone's little furry-faced assistants that are around their work tables. So my email will also be in the description box. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, it is a really lovely way to support my work that doesn't cost you anything or obligate you to anything. So that would also be really greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. I'll be back with a project with these beautiful beads, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao, jewelry making friends.